Chanel with the lead, Sam following. Sam has raced with us on a number of occasions, and when he's come here he's always impressed with his ability to give it a go and his tactical development. He's a good student of the sport and he learns very quick indeed, and he's riding to his strengths as much as he can, which is he's got a bloody good jump on him. See him sitting there behind Chanel's wheel. Another Blackburn v Carnegie tussle, this one, Chanel Carnegie and Sam Blackburn. Sam sitting perilously close to Chanel's back wheel. Hopefully he'll give himself a little distance as Chanel now picks up the pace a little bit with a bit of a move. Sam responds to it. Chanel, the rider, had to take the risk in order to give herself a chance to win. She's coming down the front straight. Sam still trapped on her wheel at this point, waiting for an opportunity to roll past her. And now he steps out onto a hip and kicks. And he was about 0.9 quicker in qualifying. And he's just got too much speed around the bend. And Sam's going to kick clear for this one as he comes around through turn 4. He can drop down in the lane if he wants, but he chooses not to. So Chanel gave herself a chance there. She certainly made the move and made the race, but Sam was a little bit too quick. Again, Michelle slightly quicker in qualifying by about 0.3. We've often seen from David that that's not a great predictor of how his races go. He often rides considerably better than he qualifies. Michelle trying to keep an eye on David as he moves around behind her and keeps her guessing as to where he is. Does that make the lead rider a little bit uneasy as again David makes that signature move coming out of turn 2 with a lap and 2/3 to go. Michelle is alert to it. She's got his wheel. Hit the bell, a lap to go. Michelle waiting patiently for an opportunity to come around, or perhaps she's on the move. It remains to be seen. She looks comfortable at the moment. But David is also a good second kicker, so that can confuse your run at him. But David now, there's his second kick. Coming down the back straight with half a lap to go. Michelle still sitting on his wheel. She's going to have to get around him at some point if she's to give herself a chance. But David lifting through the bend. Michelle now with her move around the wheel. It's going to be a good charge to the line. This one very, very close, but I think Michelle gets that one. So Michelle Kerr takes that one round. Beck with the lead, Aaron following. Beck moving up, trying to keep an eye on Aaron. Where are you? There you are. Where are you? There you are. Where are you? Yep, there you are again. Aaron doing a good job of keeping Beck guessing as to where she is. And the reason for that again is to try and get the element of surprise from the leading rider. And catch them unawares if you can. And or force the pace on them so they're responding to you and owning the position of the rider on the track. A lot of the reasons for moving around behind the lead rider is to make them uneasy and to make them respond to you and seize the initiative. If you can control the bike race, you give yourself the best chance to win it. Beck's still leading at the moment. Aaron sitting on her wheel quite patiently at this point. The ducking and diving concluded for a little while. Coming in now from off turn 4, Aaron now dropping underneath Aaron and moving back above her, ducking and diving. The bell rings. There's 300 metres to go. Still no real pace on. They're just starting to ramp it up a little bit. Beck's still watching behind her. Taking a bit of height now, running down the back straight. She jumps out of the saddle, accelerates hard. Aaron with a jobber to run at her wheel. Aaron has the advantage of the draft as they come through the bend. Can both girls keep it neat and tidy through the corner? As Beck just moves out. And Beck's going to take this one in the end. Just a little bit too quick from Aaron, who did a good job of until he's drawn the lead. Emily in the blue and white Blackburn skin suit, Tilly in the Emily in the blue and white Victorian skin suit, and Tilly in the white and red and black Blackburn skin suit. Tilly coming up now to give Emily a little room to move around the bend. The two riders train together. Emily's taken Tilly under her wing a bit and taught her a lot. She may regret that. The two riders good friends off the track. Coming out of turn 2, Emily with height. Tilly just dropping down. Perhaps tempting him to come around the outside as they come now into turn 3.
Drop down, pick it up so she
Emily
doesn't
keeping
go off the
height.
bank.
Tilly coming up to shut down the advantage Emily had of the height around the bend.
Pick up the pace.
You can see Emily applying a bit of pressure now through turn 3, turn 4, but Tilly not giving her much room to move. Emily makes a move now, Tilly both jumping at the same time. Emily with a bigger jump there than Till, and she's jumped clear. Tilly with a lot of work now to chase her as Emily's opened up a gap of about 8 or so metres. Tilly shutting it down a little bit, running at the back wheel. Emily with a second kick down the back straight. Can Tilly get around Emily, or can Emily hold her off through the bend? They come in now to turn 3. Emily's still holding the lead. Tilly now moving up onto the outside of Emily's wheel as they come out of 4. Emily's neat and tidy through the bend. Tilly's charging hard at her, but Emily Appoletto takes that one by about half a bike by the look of the follow. Johnny in that white skin suit. David at this point pressing Johnny up to the wall. John no stranger to that. He's got more laps around here and more sprints around here than most of us can count. And the guys need to remember it's no slower than walking pace. We don't allow track stands in this competition. David doing a very good job there, keeping an eye on John and making sure that he can't take him by surprise. Johnny this time slips the gap, drops down into the lead. Just a little bit of open door and he took it. David now making a move around the back straight, trying to get around the outside of John. John now has to respond and get onto David's wheel, and does so. And David qualified 3/10 quicker than Johnny. The wind picks up a little bit up the front straight to John's great benefit as David having to work into that headwind. Johnny riding the tandem on his back wheel. Has David got a second kick in him? Can Johnny make a move off the wheel? John at the moment not giving himself much room to make a pass. And it looks like David, now Johnny makes a move around the outside. But I think David might just hold him off here. And, yep. David takes that one by bike. Paul now makes an early move. Dino attentive this time. Johnny Lewis needs to get out of the way because he's still on the track. Thanks, Johnny. Anyway, Yegman's kicked clear of Dino at this point in time. Dino with a lot of work to catch him, but he's got plenty of time to do it. He's still got over a lap. Dino was quicker than Paul in qualifying. Can he grit his teeth and cut down that gap? He's now just starting to get a bit of a whiff of the slipstream. He starts to run now at Paul's back wheel. And Dino's speed as he runs into the draft coming into turn 3. Has he got the gas left to get around him? Paul's still lifting through the bend, but here comes Dino around the outside. It's going to be pretty close. Can Paul stay in the lane? Yes, he can. Dino a little bit spooked. And Dino needs to remember that if you're going to contest the finish, you don't win it. David in the blue, Nick in the blue and yellow. David with the casco, Nick with the red thing.
The red thing.
Nick a little distracted by occurrences in the previous race. Side by side now with Hasselhoff around the bend. They get a whiff of those snaggers. They do smell pretty good. I think Nick might get a talking to later from his coach about concentrating on the bike race and less on the sausages. The only person we let get away with that was Neil, because he won lots of races. Nick Mark now shutting it down the pace as David holds him up on the hip coming around into turn 3. I'll get the bell in just a moment. Nick looking possibly to give himself a run off the bank. David still holding him up. Nick now makes a move. David responds immediately. David with the lane. Nick having to move around the outside. Nick gives himself plenty of room to run at David's back wheel. That's a nice break. And he's got to give himself a good run at the wheel of Hasselhoff as he comes into the bend. Starts to shut down that gap. Can he shut it down and get past? He gets the speed out of the bend and slingshots around the outside, but too much slingshot. And he might have given himself a chance there, except he couldn't hold the line out of turn 4. Explosive jump. When he's moved, he's accelerated very quickly indeed. That's a real mark of a good sprinter, is being able to accelerate hard. And he's certainly shown us that. David Curry now, who qualified 6/10 slower, he's leading it out. David had a very good race in the previous round with raced against Paul Yeatman, those two riders who qualified almost identical times. But this time around, qualifying time is very much in James Blunt's favour. And from what we've seen of Blunt, he's got a very, very big jump indeed. Looking forward to seeing him race next week at the state titles. Hopefully he's entered in them. Quite an exciting rider to watch. He's new to this track. I don't think he's raced here before, but he's learned it very quickly. I don't think he'll race B grade again if he races here. He makes that move around the outside, and you can see that acceleration that he's got. Whack! Straight past Curry. Drops down in the lane. Curry working very hard to try and catch the slipstream, but immediately Blunt's opened up a big gap. And that's a bit too much for Curry to shut down. And there's something very strange happens at this point. This one's going to go by quite a margin to Blunt. Again, winning it with that jump. He's got a real jump, so for those of you who race with him, you need to be aware. Leading it out in the blue and black with the red helmet. Jesse sitting in behind him. Both riders on BTs. Jesse on the edge, the new BT.
That was close.
Ben, sorry, not on a Ben. Ben not on a BT, I should say. He's on a bike that Gary Jackson imports. Gary Jackson from Riviera Cycles, a long-time supporter of this series. He's been a major sponsor on a few occasions and been very, very kind to us. So if you're ever down in Gippsland, go and say hello to Gary. He's riding cyclocross now, but hopefully we'll come back to his senses and get back into sprint. Jesse makes a move down the inside, catches Ben a little bit napping, manages to slip the press, now pushes Ben back towards the fence. Trying to keep him high up. Now the move is on down the front straight. Ben with a move around the outside of Jesse. Jesse chasing hard, but Ben, that big motor gets going. He's wound up that gear. Jesse's going to have to run pretty hard at the back wheel, and he does start to approach the back wheel. Jesse's a very good chaser, and he's pretty good behind a motorbike. Can he make the pass around Ben as they come around the bend? Can be pretty close. Ben relaxed a little bit there. Oh, I don't know who got that one. That's pretty close. Sausages are ready, ladies and gentlemen.
What?
So if you're hungry, and you reckon you haven't made it through to the finals, you can come and get them. As Connor Rowley leads out David Karoknai. Karoknai, first year under 19. Connor, a second year under 17, but by looking at him, you'd think he was well and truly an under 19. He's a big, strong boy, that's for sure. We call him the hand grenade. We haven't given Karoknai a nickname, but we might make one up at some point. David with the advantage a little bit as they come off turn 2 and rolls through to the lead. Connor perhaps wanting that to happen. Now he drops onto David's wheel. Come now into 3. Connor with height. David drops down in the lane, picks the pace up a little bit, just trying to make sure that Connor doesn't get too much tactical advantage as he comes around the corner. He needs to be careful. If Connor has a pretty big jump. David still owning the lane, keeping an eye on him, and Connor now starts to wind it up. David owning the lane, and they're side by side almost as they come around through turn 2. And David Karoknai is kicking clear. Can big Connor get around the outside at this point? Karoknai may have a little bit too much speed, but here comes Connor around the outside, but no, David is just too fast. And David takes that one in the end. Perhaps Connor a little bit. And the two guys both in the same skin suit again. And the same helmet. And both on Dolans. But one's on a DF3 and the other's on a DF4. Stephen Hill's got the blue and white bike, and Jared has the black bike. Stephen on the DF3, Dol and Jared on the DF4. So that's how we can tell them apart from a distance. Stephen watching closely over his shoulder as Jared follows. Jared looks like he's picked a nice front wheel.
It's not a word.
Stephen opening up a little bit of distance. Jared laying off quite a long way. That's a pretty dangerous thing to do.
It's a very dangerous thing.
Maybe he's relying on Stephen not wanting a long race. Now Jared shuts down that gap and brings it back to a more sensible distance. And now makes a bit of a run at Stephen's wheel. Maybe catching Stephen a little bit unawares as Stephen pops up out of the way. Jared now with a move to the inside.
Now Jared, pick it up.
Opportunity to hold Stephen up on his hip. Drops down into the lane, hits the gas. Stephen now accelerating at Jared's back wheel as they come around and cross the 200 metre line down the back straight. Stephen coming around the outside of Jared, but Jared burying his head and doing as hard as he can to get around the corner. Stephen right up on Jared's hip as they come around the corner. Stephen with a bit too much speed around the outside. Jared's still working hard for it, but Stephen in the end is going to take that one by about a bike length. That's the end of the regular rounds, ladies. Very well.